from the Harvard Business School. He was manager of the Standard Trust Bank from 1998 to 2000. He was also principal manager and regional director of Abuja Equatorial Trust Bank from 2000 to 2005. Mr. Tope Fasua is presently the Chief Executive Officer Global Analytics Consulting Limited and is also a regular economic and financial market analyst on TV. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, thank you to Suraj for inviting me here and for this initiative, trying to pass on good information and knowledge to younger people. And also I say thank you to those of you who have come because you must be very serious-minded people. There are so many parties going on in Lagos as we speak. Every weekend it is said that about 1 billion or thereabouts is spent in Lagos on parties, weekend only. And we're not talking about the other parts of the country where of course the culture is catching on. Well, my presentation is titled "Things to Do Before Your Career Disappears," but it's also it's both for those who have careers already and those who don't have. Perhaps it will explain to you to an extent why those who don't have careers in terms of those who have qualifications and can't find jobs. I'm an economist. That light is a bit plenty here, especially because of my presentation is almost fully pictorial. So you're going to be seeing a lot of pictures. I'll try to speak fast because I have a lot of ground to cover. Now, I'm an economist, so I think about the broader issues. I think about macroeconomic issues. I think about countries. I think about my country, my people. I try to marry all these things together. And recently, some time back, I was going through a certain online article by the Foreign Policy magazine based in the US. And he said that, they realized that in the US, the reason why there's a lot of unemployment is not because jobs move to China or Mexico, but because human beings are no longer relevant in the work environment. Why is that so? Okay, I try and speed up very quickly. Any phone that you're carrying, okay? Any phone, where's my other phone? Sorry. Okay, yeah, I found it here. Any phone today is not only a phone. Any phone is as well a camera, is as well a calendar. Yes, please. A reminder, a wristwatch. A thermometer. Yes, in fact, okay, it's a thermometer. So you can do your Word document on this phone, you can connect it and print, you can do your Excel on this phone. Of course, typing is not an issue. It's an alarm clock. Huh? You can do your bank transfer, e-payment on this phone. You can do what? It's a compass, GPRS, there's trouble. Now, the point. In fact, I said I will launch my music career right in front of you. And I think this is the point at which I stand in front of these judges of Nigerian Idol. And, ordinarily, the kind of musician I want to be is a reggae musician. So I'll sing one of Bob Marley's songs. The only problem I have is I'm bald. So I wish I had that. This is at the point where you do all those reggae steps. So I remember one song, but he said, "Your worst enemy." No, he said, "Some will eat with you." I failed it. Anyway, the one that said, "Your worst enemy may be your best friend, and your best friend your worst enemy. Some will eat and drink with you. Then behind the suits upon you, only your friends know your secret. So only he can reveal it to that fate." This is the time that the ego will start to work. You know what? Who's your best friend? Technology is your best friend today, and it's also your worst enemy. Okay? This phone sleeps and drinks and eats with you. Now when you lose your phone, some people will mourn for 5 days. Because the contacts alone, some people, I'm Robert Jack to you in the way, say, "Oh, but just give me my SIM card. Give me the SIM card." I don't mind. Just give me, take the phone, And imagine someone hacks your email account. Imagine the amount of information you stand to lose. The amount of contacts. And begin to get them back. Of course, that's why I say it's good to back up. So technology is our best friend and at the same time our worst enemy. It depends on how you see it. Okay, but what's going on now is that, as much as human population is increasing, and indeed, longevity in even Nigeria is increasing because medicine is improving somehow or the other, okay? But as much as this is happening, human population is increasing, the spaces to employ people are decreasing. Baba is here, runs an HR company. I mean, they connect you with jobs and so on. They'll probably tell you just how tough it is. But let me quickly speed up. All right, so what's the real issue? The real issue is that there are no more assurances for you to get jobs, okay? No more assurances. Number two, all of us can multitask. What technology does is to make you very, very efficient at whatever it is you do. Okay, so you go to the banking sector now, they say, okay, they're doing e-payment, right? I was in Zenith Bank, one of the Zenith Bank branches yesterday. And they had this 10 cubicles that they had provided for tellers. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for tellers. And there were only 2 for tellers. In fact, the traffic going into the banks are reducing. More in Lagos, where you guys are ahead. When I come to Lagos, you guys are light years away. A friend of mine sent a driver to come and pick me at the airport the other time. And as we were going, he made a call, on his hands-free. And he was calling one company. He said, yeah, I used to get DSTV on my phone, but I don't get that. He said, okay, send me the URL, send me. I'm like, bloody hell, this is a driver. In Abuja, all those, your fat cat politicians, they don't know. Even to sign on their email account, you have to call, hey, secretary, come and put this, what's my passport? As a driver on the and tech, you guys are tech in Lagos. So in Lagos, I can imagine what's going on in the Bronx. So the point is that they have to lay people off. Who needs a bulk teller when there's no cash to count? It's technology. All of us are keen into it. So see, technology is something we can't escape. We must embrace it as our best friend. But also in terms of getting employment and getting a career is our worst enemy. So think about it. So the world has changed in ways we cannot imagine. Government cannot provide jobs, so also do private sectors. Government will say, hey, our own is to create the enabling environment for private sector. I am private sector. I left banking 8 years ago. I set up this consulting firm with a few friends. I have a few other initiatives, employment initiatives. I am not in, like my own entrepreneurial initiatives. I am not in the business of creating employment. I'm sorry. Private sector is not in the business of creating employment. Private sector is in the business of making money with as minimal resources as possible. Those guys that made a lot of money from oil subsidy? It was me, myself, on my iPad. A lot of the companies, there are just 2 or 3 people there, they made billions in a year. Who needs to employ people and then you start to worry about maternity leave, paternity leave, sick leave, marital this thing. One comes to say her husband was not good to her during the night and all those kinds of things. Employers don't want to deal with all that. So with as minimum resources as possible. Employers, private sector, only employ when it's absolutely necessary. The CEO cannot do all the secretary job himself. He cannot be the driver, be the mega, so therefore he fills in those spaces. But now he's thinking about how to do that at the minimum cost. So almost all careers are in jeopardy. Almost all careers. I'm sorry, I'm the bad news guy, I have to tell you this. Almost all careers are in jeopardy. Accountant, I'm a child accountant as well. I'm a fellow of the institute. But when I opened my first bank account in the UK, in Barclays, they gave me one CD. They said, look, put this CD in your system, in your computer, and as you incur the expenses, it does your account for you. Bada bing, bada boom. Out comes your account. Who needs an accountant? Okay? Writer, I'm a writer. Everybody is a writer. Femi Awayemi was here saying, look, everybody has an opinion in this age of social media. Everybody is a writer. Everybody is an editor. You can create a blog. Suraj works in an oil firm. Okay, I won't mention the name of the oil firm so that nobody will kidnap me. But also he has done this initiative, and he maintains the blog on a daily basis. He writes on a daily basis. Football referees. Now they have brought the goal mount technology, right? In time, they will do away with the linesman. In time, we have to understand, it's not enough to just buy what the Igbo man produces, but we have to understand how they think. we have to understand the history of evolution, the history of how they made the progress that we love so much. In time, they would actually do away with the linesman. In time, 50, 100 years down the line, you probably don't need a referee to officiate a match, because the computer will do a better job. If you're offside, he knows you're offside. You can't lie. They say maths. You cannot. Figures don't lie. Machine know they lie. Picture know they lie as you be. If you were one like me, you know, it's going to show you one picture. So, you know, so innovation is our best friend worst enemy. But let's move on. But also, I say that, but also globalization and, you know, the countries compete among themselves. Someone will tell you that, oh, okay, if all these jobs disappear, new ones will come. But what kind of new jobs are coming? What kind of skills do you need in order to do the new jobs that are coming? The person who produces this Samsung phone, this company, right now as we speak, they have locked up a number of heads inside one room. They are brainstorming how to bring out even a better product. And a better product is a product that can do even more than what this one is doing. They believe that this is not even good enough. And the more it does, the more people unskilled, you know, to a large extent, you know, relatively unskilled people that is going to take out of the employment. So what do we do? That's why we're here. This picture is the Intercontinental Bank. These are human beings here. Though it's a bit unclear. But this Intercontinental Bank in Okpebi, some years back, they actually made an advertisement to employ just a few people. Almost 1 million people turned up. That's at Debola House in Okpebi. Those are heads of people. This one is that's CBN in Abuja. This is Women's Center. Another employment stuff, you know, they did. That's CBN just opposite CBN in Abuja. So we begin to tell you, of course, you are aware of Dangote, where PhD holders actually apply to be truck drivers. It is true. I thought it was a lie. But PhD holders applying to be truck drivers. But that is not a Nigerian issue alone. This guy in the UK spent his last £500 to erect a billboard and say, please give me a job. So it's a global phenomenon, like I said before. And of course, it leads to things like crime, you know, kidnapping and all these kind of things going on in Nigeria. Now, remember this. Yes, but you know the funny thing about this, there's one funny thing about this very typewriter. What strikes you about this typewriter? Oh, okay, you can't see it well. You can't see. It's a Hermes. This is H-E-R-M-E-S. Hermes designer typewriter. This is a designer typewriter. When I started working in 1992 I used to work in Citizens Bank. I'm not available there, and I used to go to clearing for my bank as a clerk. So I have to go to Broad Street every day, CBN in Broad Street. In front of the General Post Office, there was a battery, an array of typists. If you needed to type anything, then you go and give them, say, pa, 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 pa. Then they bring the Tipex and Tipexes. You know, all of those people have disappeared. Who's going to need a typist now? I mean, come on. Of course, you go to a business center, they'll type it for you on Microsoft Word and all that stuff. Okay, so but this, imagine now, what has happened to the companies that used to produce typewriters? Yeah, exactly. A lot of them collapsed because all of a sudden there was no demand for what they were doing. And some of them were smart enough to quickly adapt and think about the future. So the future belongs to those who are thinking about the future. And that's why my discussion to you here is very, very important. If you're staying here thinking, okay, how do I get a job? And after I get a job, what if they don't promote me? I met someone who works in the banking industry recently. She came to my office, my friend's wife, Diamond Bank to be precise, and she's had only one promotion in 8 years. She's been there for 8 years, she's on the 2nd level. When we joined banking in '92, every 1.5 years, even if you were a back office guy, you get your promotion. A few years before then, when I and Co just started banking, they got their promotion every year. Sometimes double promotion every year. Now most people are stagnated in their careers in the banking industry. And some of you who don't have employment are looking at this, if I could just get in there. Okay? So things are changing so fast. Remember this. Would you go to the post office and buy stamp and put this on and start sending? when you can send an email or instant messaging. You can ping somebody and the guy gets it right now. That is the equivalent of having, you don't understand what has happened. Think about it for a second. An instant message, ping, now. Your here is in China. He gets the message immediately in the time of your dad. You have to go to the post office, buy several stamps, join the queue, okay? Get insulted by the person on the other side, but say, my friend, you don't know how to fill the form. Pay money and then send it, and he begins to go. Some of those letters, you know, some don't get that. Because some people have got their own letter 50 years after. You know, and then the person replies, you. Come back. So it's, the world has changed. You know, the thing that pains me most about my people, Africans, you know, I'm sorry. You know, I mean, if we knew the enormity, for some reason, I'm still coming to grasp with the enormity of problems that we have. But the point where I am right now today is that I'm so angry. I'm so angry and I'm so afraid for us. Because I look at us vis-a-vis other peoples of the world. That's why it's called race. I don't believe there's anything like a Yoruba race or blah. But I know that at the level of white man, black man, Chinese man, and all that, yes, there's a race going on. And they look at us, they're so far ahead of us, and they think, what's wrong with these people? And then we have leaders who can't even see this picture. The only people who should aspire to the level of leadership are those who see this picture and realize that, look, we're so far behind. We need to move far forward, you know, at least to begin to count, not to begin to waste our times. That's a start, Nigeria Post Office. That's the whole thing. Your mobile phone does all of that. Now, before, in fact, about at least 15 years ago, you would have to go to NITEL to make an international call. Okay? Before GSM came. Okay? But look at that. Robots are taking over your jobs. So what that article I read said was that the real issue is that robots are taking over jobs, computers are taking over jobs. This is McDonald's. And you have a robot dispenser. So not only do you have a drive-through McDonald's, whereby you say, look, I'm so much in a hurry. So you drive this way, and you place your order, and turn around there, your order is ready, you pick your order, and you go. You say, not only, you know, they are even ready to substitute that human being who is supposed to give you your burger. That a robot will do it. And like I said before, all these robots need is just a few tweaking here and there. Someone goes there, just put this in, a brush, they dust it inside and all that. And the robot is good to go. And it works 24 hours, 365 days in a year. An ATM is a robot. You put your card in, put your codes in, brings out your cash. An ATM is a robot. And something is quite telling. Because before, okay, if you can see this well, but this is what a banking hall used to be like. Whether in Nigeria, I mean, if you went to First Bank, this was a typical. There's that place up there. See the number of people there. I hope you can see it. There are people at the back here. There are huge numbers of people at the back here. You know, this is the front. There are human beings here serving. That's what a typical banking hall used to be like. But now, this is what a banking hall is like. So, we're the ones queuing up at the ATMs. The humans are depending on the machines so heavily. Before, you needed a human being, at least 2 or 3 human beings to operate one machine. But now the machine operates itself and serves so many human beings. Look at the dependency on this ATM. So things are really, really changing. Of course, e-banking is there as well. Meaning that from your mobile phone here, I mean, I saw a colleague of mine at the airport as I was coming in Abuja. And it was, you know, there was a queue on Aero Contractors line and all that. So I said, look, why do all these things? Well, why don't you just set it up so that people can just, you know, check themselves in? They're exactly what I'm talking about. As if it's not bad enough. And he said to me, he said, look, even this, my phone. I realized, he said, I realized I don't even need my laptop, my iPad anymore. Because everything is here. Now, so you see, when this iPad, I don't have an iPad. I'm sorry. I don't have an iPad. My wife wanted to buy me one for my birthday. I said, don't waste your money. See, but when I carry this, my big Apple something out, at times I feel embarrassed. Because like, oh, this guy belongs to the old school. I mean, what's he doing with this huge signboard? You know? But you see that things are changing. It's getting even more micro and more micro. The future is the time when I've seen some of those things in the movie where every glass, so they call it glass technology, something like that. Anything, any glass surface, you can actually begin to do your computing and check your email on any glass surface within your house. So you don't even need your iPad anymore in this issue. You don't even need your phone. Why? Because the people who are at the cutting edge of technology are thinking ahead. And what do? They do all of those things, they pass it on to us in Africa. And we buy it in Africa. That's a trap. You know, of course, you hear people say, you know, that, oh, like I said before, the private sector is not in the business of providing employment. The private sector is in business of making profit. I say welcome to my Oga, Mr. Simon Kalale. Yes, please give him a round of applause. It's not easy to get big fish. Yeah, you know, that's, you know, kudos to Jarushub for being able to pull this thing. So you see, I said before, private sector is not in the business of providing employment. They're in the business of making money. That's what they're there for. So when government tells you, oh, we provide an environment, private sector, we just provide the jobs. And recently you hear us, you know, most of you here probably think, if we could just fix the agri sector, we would make millions of jobs. Listen, anybody going into agri these days will think about getting all these things, and even better, such that in a vast farm of how many hectares and what have you, you need just a handful of people to work there. So where are we going to throw our millions of people that need employment? We went to South Africa for those large farms. Almost all of them, they are pilots. The man who owns the farm is a pilot. His children are pilots. I've met so many of them, white South Africans. Because you have to know how to fly the crop duster. You want to want to put pesticides and so on. You have to fly and be giving the pesticides as you're flying. You don't need those numbers of people in the place. Okay? So like I said before, it's a race. But where are we with this race? Now that takes me to another very important issue. I hope I'm not running behind time. Has anybody ever heard about 3D printers? 3D printers, how many people? Show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, not so many, about 10 people here. So 3D printers is now, you know, the next level of technology. I read another article in The Economist says that the third industrial revolution. 3D printers, you know, you have your normal printer. Your printer, you want to print a document, you know, you just specify, okay, what document, go to file, print, you know, it tells you which printer you want to print. Oh, I want 2 copies and so on. Select, preview, print, and then your paper comes out. But already, there's what they call the 3D printer, whereby you can print real things. You can print things that you can hold, like this. You can print this thing. Maybe not the water inside, but you can print this. That's very easy to print. So, okay, you need, you're in your house, you need a plastic bottle in your house. Those printers now come with not only the ink cartridge, they come with plastic substrates, glass, liquid glass if you like. They come with liquid metal if you like. So when you go in there and you specify, I want to print this plastic bottle because I need it, I don't want to go to the supermarket. Then it's going to show you, okay, preview. It will show you something like this. They say, okay, this is the height, this is the width, this is the width, this is what I want. Enter. And it will mix all those chemicals for you and will produce what you want. See, we are lost. So really, the truth is that there are 3D printers and they are, you know what, the thing is that right now they are quite big. But in time, now, it's the same printer that printed this thing. That is the image that's specified in the computer. And in fact, the good thing about it is you can even specify the color you want. You can tweak it around a bit. Okay? All of these things were printed. A guitar here, some implements here, and all those kinds of printed with a 3D printer. One guy printed a gun out of it in the US. No, not the whole gun anyway, but this part of the gun. And what the argument then was that, look, you say you want to control guns, you know, when they were killing people, the people are just shooting people anyhow, which they're still doing now in the US. And Obama said, look, I want to ban guns and so on. You can't do anything about it because we can actually print the gun. Okay? All you have to do is specify. Okay? So basically there's a race out. I remember that I'm an economist. Thomas Malthus told us many years ago, he said, there's going to come a time when food production will not meet up with human population because human beings will continue to grow faster than the rate at which they can produce food. In time, he said that Thomas Malthus was wrong because technology came, industrial revolution came, and human beings were able to produce even more food than they needed. But then why do we have famine in Africa? Why do we have poverty in Africa? As we speak today, the people who have woken up today and in Nigeria here, they don't know what to eat or where to go to. If we are privileged, let's know that we are privileged. Because the truth is that Thomas Malthus was right. Even on the subject of jobs, somebody say, oh, look, if one job disappears, another one will come. What kind of jobs have reappeared? A lot of the jobs that have come up in this age of technology, we can't even pronounce the names of those jobs. Now, how do you apply for a job which name you can't pronounce? Right now, you hear jobs like robotic sterilizers, synthetic this, that. The kind of skill sets you need is totally out of this world. You have to be the ones actually, you have to understand what's going on at the very zenith of technology and innovation before you can actually relate with the jobs that are coming out. Okay? In this one, I keep taking this one, this somebody's leg and all that. This is fish bones. I have a documentary called Darwin's Nightmare. And it's about in Uganda, part of Lake Victoria. I've been to Lake Victoria before, so I can say, part of Lake Victoria, 50 years ago, somebody introduced a fish there called the Nile perch. Now, the Nile perch is a very destructive fish, but it grows big very quickly. Now, that Nile perch has eaten all the 100